Protestant Reformation is one of the most extraordinary periods in Western civilization. Many of the ideas and principles we know today find their roots in the Reformation.
The story of the Protestant Reformation is truly an amazing event in the history of Western civilization. In the 16th century, there was an eruption of ideas that shook the world as it was then known, and the aftershocks of that Reformation, of that historical event, continue to this very day. When you walk up and down the streets of the United States or any of the Western countries, you'll see churches with names like Anglican, Presbyterian, Reformed, Methodist, Baptist, Mennonite, Lutheran. All of these names, along with the traditional names of Roman Catholic, Greek Orthodox, are a result of this explosion in human history.
Joining us are leading Reformation experts and theologians who share their unique perspectives on how this tumultuous time gave rise to a church movement built on a solid foundation of biblical principles.
As we try to understand why this period was so powerful, it comes to the simple idea that people began to ask the question, what is true and how do we know it's true? They had been told for centuries that the Roman Catholic Church was the absolute truth and the only true church. And everyone was taught and believed that when the Pope spoke, he spoke as the vicar or the substitute of Christ. But at the same time, there were those that were taught that the Bible was a part of the Christian tradition. There were scholars such as the monks, and they discovered that sometimes the teaching of the Bible and the teachings of the Pope didn't agree. We find that there were forerunners at the beginning, like Wycliffe and Hus and Savonarola, who are calling for a reformation.
Come join us as we travel to the key Reformation sites, including Luther's Germany, John Calvin in Geneva, Zwingli in Zurich, and the homeland of the fiery John Knox.
So you had Martin Bucer in Strasbourg, you had Zwingli and Bullinger in Zurich, you had Calvin and Beza in Geneva, and Ursinus Olivianus in Heidelberg. You had the Dutch Reformed, you had the French, you had the English Reformers, you had Knox, of course, and the Scottish Reformers. And each of these strands of Reformed theology were engaging with one another.
The epicenter of the Reformed part of the Reformation was with John Calvin in Geneva.
This, to me, is the pivotal point for all of Western civilization. To me, this is where it all came together in the pulpit and the pen of John Calvin.
Come and join us as our series takes us through the Protestant Reformation as we see how God shook the world and how those beliefs that were rediscovered from the Scriptures still matter today.